On May 25, 1988, Richard Kuklinski was convicted of multiple murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. This ended 30 years of cold-blooded killing by a masked criminal police called the Iceman.
Right, so a quick knowledge is about the moon and how the moon is basically made of ice. Right, and so you get like if you take a look at the moon, right, you examine the moon, you see the different sort of surfaces on it, the sort of disparities in surfaces, right, or disparities in surfaces, right. You see like some parts of it, you notice there are shapes what sort of form on it, isn't there? Right? And so you have sort of parts of it which are like liquid, a little bit sort of warmer, right, and other parts of it which have totally crystallized in the ice, right. So basically you're talking about the sun and moon being the fire and the ice, right, which sort of corresponds to the coding of this sort of sacrifice idea, right, the sacred fire and ice, see, and you have the sort of different ideas within like the culture and that about the Ice Queen and stuff like that. See, like I'm not sure some of them fairy tales and that they have the Ice Queen. You know what I mean? Not sure which one it is, like, but that type of thing. Right? So you have the like Solomon, the duality Solomon, sun and moon. Right? And so basically you're talking about the moon. Right? Obviously the sun is made of fire, right, which is, you know, plain as day to see, like, right, and the moon basically being made of ice, being composed of like water and ice. See what I'm saying? And I think Jungle did a video quite a while back, good video about where he was looking at the moon and basically ascertained that it was liquid and all that, right. So this is correct, like, you know what I mean. It's so when you look at it and you see the sort of like the different surfaces, see what you're looking at is basically water and ice crystallized. See what I'm saying? And so when you have like the sort of ideas what to stem off it, like Roman goddesses and all that, like Diana, the goddess of the moon, right? And this is Diana is a goddess of animals or hunter of animals or whatever, right? Keeper of animals type of thing, right? So the animals is basically referring to the sort of natural people, right? And your sort of moon, your ice ideas, right? I think I've done in the previous video something to do with the ice, how it relates to the naturals, right? In terms of like, you know, services and stuff like that, right? The ice idea sort of referring to the sort of dealing with the sort of animals, dealing with the natural people, right? And so when you have Diana the hunter, you know, it's to do with that, see, because a moon is basically to do with darkness and night time and death and those type of ideas, you see what I mean? And obviously the sun is the opposite, it's to do with life and you know, warmth and energy and growth and giving off of, like, you know, good loving rays and that, you see what I'm saying? And the moon is basically to do with like death and darkness, you see what I'm saying? So that's why you have all this stuff encoded into the culture and all that, right? And I've read an interesting comment by Evoleth, I think it's Evoleth, right, where she says that the Masons have turned the sort of knowledges round, so that the sort of what she was saying was that the moon is basically the male energy and that the sun is the female energy, right? Well, that's quite an interesting concept, like quite an interesting idea, you know what I mean? I'm not exactly sure on that one, but it's an interesting thing. But certainly they have, you know, the ideas within the culture is that the moon is the goddess type of thing and the sun is the masculine type of thing. So they might have changed that run, you know, it's a possibility. But getting away from the sort of metaphorical representations of it. See, you basically, your sun is fire, right? Elementally speaking, right? And your moon is ice. See what I'm saying? That's sacrifice, see it with fire and ice. See what I'm saying? Fire relating to the tea drinkers, right? Which they often use in their sort of memes and that, and ice relating to the naturals. See what I'm saying? And then you have other things like stemming off from that, like there's that story about the hitman, what they call now, he's like a killer, and they called him the Iceman. And it was they made a movie of it. And it was supposedly based on a true story, right? But as we know the technique what they use, this was a hex in itself and all that. The true story of this bloke and that. And he was supposedly this sort of killer bloke and that murderer, you know what I mean? And this sort of Iceman, see what I'm saying? And so you basically have that's very simple, see what I mean? So when you're looking at the moon and you're seeing the different, like I say, the disparate surfaces, you're looking at warmer sections and cooler sections where you know it's water in some sections and ice in other sections. See what I mean? Hence creating the shape of it and all that. And like sometimes you can, when it becomes transparent, you can see right through it. Again, this is like an ice, because you hold up an ice crystal, and if the ice sort of is dense, like really frozen, you cannot see through it. As it starts to thaw out and that, you can, it becomes transparent. You can see right through it. See what I mean? A piece of ice. So it's simple as that. Your sun is fire and your moon is ice. You know what I mean?